What is up everybody, I'm hoping you're all well and welcome back to Suggestion Sunday, a series in which I ask you guys, yes you guys watching this very video, to suggest any movies that you would like me to review in the comment section below of this video or any other Suggestion Sunday video that I have done. I'll put your suggestion in my little tin and every week I choose an hour at random to review for you guys on Sunday, or on Saturday, which is when I record this and then I schedule it for the Sunday. And today's suggestion comes from a very good friend of mine who has suggested one of Tim Burton's stop motion animated films. So let's not waste any more time, I'll quit my stupid little ramblings and let's talk about this movie. Corpse Bride. So Corpse Bride is a stop motion animated film directed by Mike Johnson and Tim Burton, despite the fact everyone knows it as Tim Burton's film, and stars the voice talents of Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter. In this movie, Victor, voiced by Johnny Depp, is forced into a marriage with a girl he's never really met before. However, when they meet, they start to get a bit of a connection, but due to him being very nervous, he can't really complete his vows, and in doing so, the rehearsal goes a little bit wrong. He runs out into the middle of the forest to practice, and in doing so, accidentally proposes to a corpse. The corpse being Helena Bonham Carter, who then pops out of the ground, says "I do," and now these two are married, and she drags him to the land of the dead despite the fact him being living. And now Victor is caught in this conundrum where he's married to a dead person, but he actually has feelings for the living person, but he doesn't know how to get back to the living person. It's a whole Tim Burton-esque, romantic, dark love story thing. Stuff you come to expect with a Tim Burton film, really. Probably done a terrible job explaining this movie, but that's the description I'll go with and I'll continue from there. And I'll start straight away by talking about the directors Mike Johnson and Tim Burton. Tim Burton in particular, because obviously he's known for his very dark, gothic films. And this movie is really no different. There's a lot of dark moments in this movie, some scary scenes, which some children may find a little bit scary considering it is a PG, but nothing too horrifying that it'll give them nightmares or anything like that. Plus any sort of dark, gloomy tone that the film starts to present to you is immediately nulled by the fact that they have a lot of very comedic moments in this movie. A lot of the times they are very funny. There's also some very light-hearted songs in this movie. And while the music for this movie may not be as memorable as, say, Nightmare Before Christmas, the score for this film by Danny Elfman and the songs themselves are still really good and do fit the tone of this movie. I wouldn't find myself really listening to these songs on my way to work or anything. I wouldn't download the playlist, but when you're watching the film, it does fit the tone of the film and it works really well. The voice cast all do a really good job in this movie. Johnny Depp playing Victor, of course, is quite a scared, nervous character, and of course he's quite good at playing those sorts of characters. I mean, Johnny Depp's good in any sort of movie you give him. Yeah, sure, while a lot of his movies are more wacky, weird roles that are a little bit they don't allow him to really show his acting chops. He's a very talented actor and he does a good job voicing the character in this movie. You really feel for him. He's a very innocent guy who's just been caught up in this situation that no one can really say they've ever thought of being caught up in. And he doesn't really want to hurt anyone's feelings, and so in that you do feel for him. However, there are a few moments in this movie where, because he doesn't want to hurt people's feelings, he can come off a little bit of a dick. More so towards the corpse bride herself, played by Helena Bonham Carter, who is just fantastic in this movie. I thought her voice acting was great. Another actor who, no matter what role she is in, she gives it her all, and this movie is no different. She is absolutely fantastic in this film. There's a sad backstory to her character which you get to learn as the movie goes on, and yes, sure, while the twist as to what actually happened with her character is fairly easy to predict, it isn't done in a way which is forced into your face. It's done quite subtly throughout the runtime of the movie, but if you do watch a lot of movies like myself, you do get into that sort of rhythm and knowing the basic tropes of where certain movies are going to go, and this movie in that sense isn't any different. One of my favourite parts about this movie as well is the contrast between the land of the living and the land of the dead. The land of the living being quite a dark, gloomy looking place, whereas the land of the dead is quite bright and colourful, which is obviously in contrast to what you'd expect areas like that to be. I mean, you'd really expect the land of the living to be bright and colourful and the land of the dead to be dark and gloomy, but they really do swap it around because people in the land of the dead just seem to be happier. They seem to be loving their life down in the land of the dead despite the fact they're dead, and it's not really living their life, but they're living their best dead life. They're living their best dead life in the land of the dead. But all very open, very welcoming, very warm, loving characters. They all seem to care about one another, they're respectful of one another, they're respectful of the rules between the land of the dead and the land of the living. To be honest, after watching the movie, you kind of want to live in the land of the dead because of how upbeat it is there when compared to the land of the living, which in contrast to the land of the dead is very dull, it's very boring. And not in the sense that the movie itself is boring, but it's meant to feel like these characters just don't care, like they're all miserable. And in that, it makes the majority of the characters very unlikable, except for the characters that you are supposed to care for, that being mainly Victor and Victoria. The animation as well, that being stop motion animation, is absolutely gorgeous. Again, stop motion animation is such a beautiful art form in terms of animation. I love all the work that goes into these sorts of movies, and so I always have to commend filmmakers who do make stop motion animation films because they are just fantastic. It's incredibly difficult to make these movies, it's incredibly difficult to get these characters to emote in a way that makes you care about them. But when studios do it, and they do do it right, especially Leica Studios, who I do believe had a part to play in the making of this movie, that can really create some very heartwarming, heartfelt, hilarious, family fun movies. And I have to say, this movie isn't any different to what I just said. It is very funny at times, it is very heartfelt. There are some times where some jokes really don't hit and you can really feel when they don't hit, but there are some really good visual gags there and some very subtle gags here and there that you can notice that will make you laugh. Or even just some very deadpan deliveries that will just catch you off guard, like it did me a couple of times. That again being a praise to the voice cast in this film, who all do a terrific job. I will say my only real issue with this movie is it's just under an hour 20, and in that the movie does feel a little rushed in its story elements. However, there are times where the pacing does slow down for the more emotional scenes, and in that it can drag sometimes. When the fast-paced stuff does happen, it is very entertaining, it is very energetic, and it does go by very quickly. But when the more slow-paced stuff happens, the more character development scenes, the movie really does slow down in order to develop these characters in a way that's going to make you care for them. But it does feel a little rushed considering the movie itself is just under an hour 20. So I feel like had the movie been longer, we could have had a little bit longer with these characters, because they are very likeable characters. You do really warm towards them, and in that you will want to see more of them on screen. But there are also other characters that you wish you got to spend more time with, primarily the characters that spend a lot of the time in the land of the dead bar. I thought those scenes were incredibly well done. They're very entertaining, they're very energetic, they have a lot of very fast-paced moments and some good visual and audio gags. And I personally would have liked to have seen a little bit more in that particular environment. But I wouldn't say that's really a big issue with the movie, it's just something that I wish I'd have seen more in the film. It's a little nitpicky on my part. I don't know if anyone else feels that way about the film. Overall, this is a very, very entertaining movie, very heartfelt, very funny. The animation, as I mentioned, is absolutely gorgeous. The voice cast are all fantastic in the film, and so for all those reasons I'm going to give Corpse Bride 4 stars. So, Corpse Bride, have you guys seen it, or what are your thoughts on it? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comment section below. And as always, this is a Suggestion Sunday series, so if there are any movies at all that you would like me to review, let me know in the comment section below of this particular video, or any other of my Suggestion Sunday series videos. I will take your suggestion, put it in my little tin, and that way it has the chance to be picked out doing one of my Suggestion Sunday videos at random. Thanks as always for watching, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and for some more videos just like this one, then subscribe to my channel for more. Thanks again for watching. You guys are awesome, and I will see you all in the next video.